Good day, and thank you for tuning in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. For all of our new listeners and viewers who are tuning in for the very first time, I'm Pastor Pope, and thank you for allowing us to come into your viewing environment. We are here with you every Monday through Friday from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, broadcasting live from the FijiWater.com sponsored studio, where you can discuss careers, finances, entrepreneurship. You can discuss marriage, divorce, raising children, blending families. You can discuss dating and relationships. Whatever's in your heart, whatever's on your mind, God is concerned about that which concerns you. So we are here with you every Monday through Friday from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast, which is brought to you daily by Fiji Water, Earth's finest water. You may already know that Fiji water comes from Fiji. However, did you know that it is created by nature? It is untouched by man. It starts as a tropical rainfall which slowly filters through layers of volcanic rock, where the water collects in a natural, sustainable artesian aquifer where it is bottled right at the source, free from human contact until you unscrew the blue cap. Fiji water, Earth's finest water, will be delivered right to your front door when you subscribe for delivery, and you'll save money at FijiWater.com. This is not just ordinary water. This is Earth's finest water at FijiWater.com. And for those of you who continue giving on the Give segment of our app at New Life-Delaware, and those of you that have made a weekly or monthly commitment by supporting the broadcast, by giving on our contribution pages of our websites at newlifeministriesinternational.com and newlifeinternationalcdc.com. We thank you for your support and for your commitment as we fulfill our commitment to God to be here for you in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. And we do that by broadcasting live on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and on RadioFreeNetwork.com live. You can go to RadioFreeNetwork.com. Click on radio, the drop box will appear. Click on the New Life link and every broadcast will be available to you. And while you're there, you can stay connected with us throughout the day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on our internet radio station, WKAP Faith Empowerment Radio. There is a link on radio at RadioFreeNetwork.com. And now we have launched our website, officially launched our new website for WKAP, Faith Empowerment Radio. Go to WKAPfaith.com. Very easy. WKAPfaith.com. Stay tuned in, stay connected with us throughout the day when we play music that will encourage you, empower you, and inspire you to become the best version of ourselves that we can possibly become. And so we thank you all for tuning in wherever you are across the U.S. and wherever you are around the globe. And I'm going to address a communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that your family is quite demanding of you. They believe that due to your success, it is necessary for you to share in their financial responsibilities, and it has slowed down your progress. You said your process, of building for the future. So let me begin by saying this. People can only demand of you what you allow them to demand of you. Your family may be making demands, but you don't have to respond to those demands. You know, we often talk about teaching people how to treat us. And what that means is essentially that you have to determine what's best for you and your household and allow others to determine what's best for them. And when they begin to bring their issues into your household, demanding that you do certain things, and when I use the word demanding only because you use the word demanding, because no one can demand anything of you that you're not willing to sacrifice. So you have to make some decisions that will ensure that they know that they can't make demands of you. They can only make requests. And you have a right to say no to those requests. Demands imply that that's something you're required to do. You're not required by God to do anything that He has not assigned you to do. So, of course, when you honor those, let me rephrase that. I won't use the word honor with demands. I will use the word honor with requests. But when you allow people to demand that you use your success to address their financial responsibilities, first of all, you're not only slowing down your process of building for the future, you're slowing down their process of development. They have to get to the place where they're working to develop their lives. Listen, none of us are perfect. We've all made mistakes along the way, and we've all had to pay for our mistakes in some form. But if you do not allow them to pay for their mistakes, they will never grow. And you have a large family. So you have to know that those are not your responsibilities. Their financial responsibilities are not your responsibilities. The financial responsibilities that they take on are their responsibilities. So you can't allow anyone to demand anything of you. And now I'm going to address particularly when it is slowing down your process of building for the future. You have to recognize that they're going to have their own time of life, because we all have an appointed time when this life will come to an end. You have to recognize that they have an appointed period of time to build for their future. And the younger they are, the longer they have to build for their future. You are taking on responsibility that's disrupting your progress. You say your process of building for the future, and that's where I wanted to go with this. The progress that you desire to make and should be able to make based on your successes, your accomplishments, and your successes do not require you to take on their financial responsibilities. Everyone has to grow and has to grow at their own pace. If you are taking on those responsibilities, of course it's going to slow down your process of building for the future. And you've got to recognize that you want to keep moving forward and you want to be able to see progress. You want to be able, progress inspires us to make more progress. It inspires us to be better versions of ourselves. It inspires us to fulfill the success that God has appointed for our lives so that we can be an inspiration to others. See, this is where we sometimes miss what God is doing. Let me say this. The majority of the population, think about this. There's 1% of the population that is wealthy. There is 10% of the population that is financially successful. That leaves 89% of the population. 89% of the population was not born with a silver spoon in their mouth. Let me go a little further. Truthfully, 99% of the population was not born with a silver spoon, because even though people, that 10% that are financially successful, it's been hard work and dedication that got them to that point. The 1% of the wealthy population, their children are born with the silver spoon theory, meaning they have access to the world. They have access to everything. But that's not the case for most of us. The 10% that I talked about that is financially successful, that 10% has had to work, and it might be 9%, but let's work with that. 10% of the population, I believe the number is, that literally has worked their way to being financially successful. They've worked and saved and invested their way to being financially successful. Which leaves 89% of the population that has to work to have success and work even harder to maximize that success. So think about this. All of your family has the same DNA that you have. We all started out on the same platform, the same DNA platform, which means that in most cases, we came from working class families, whatever their jobs may have been. We came from working class families, and we all started out on the same platform. What we've done along the journey of life determines the successes and the level of successes that we've experienced. Your family is no different than you. They have had the opportunity to do the same things that you've done, maybe in different format, but think about this. Some people go directly to the workforce right out of high school, and they find an opportunity to work in an environment for 30 years, and they build, they save their money, they do the right thing, and they make progress. And then others will go off to college for 4 years and may change jobs over the course of the years of the journey, but yet experience some successes. But, however, we all make decisions. Whatever those decisions are, the consequences or the results of those decisions, we find ourselves where we are today, and we have to trust God that we're right where we're supposed to be and build on that. So we have to be mindful that if we're going to continue our success and maximize our success, we can't allow anyone or anything, distractions, to pull us down, slow us down. Because you're progressing and they're stagnant, and their stagnation will then begin to pull you into a place of stagnation. Because once again, your process of building for the future has been slowed down because you've been taking on their responsibilities. But yet, they're not concerned about their responsibilities. So that's a choice. And what I mean by that is, they're not concerned about taking care of their responsibilities because they believe that they can make you feel guilty enough about your success, and they're not having the same success that you're having, that you will then take on some of their responsibilities. So they're going to do whatever they want to do and then expect you to take on some of the responsibility. And we often fall for that. And what I mean by fall for that is not just being tricked, but we fall for it in the sense of it takes us from the level we're on back down to another level because we're trying to, raise the tide for them, but it's slowing down your process of building for the future. So you have to set some boundaries, pure and simple. You're going to find it necessary to set some boundaries and say, I'm not going to take on their responsibilities. If there's a health issue, you've all heard me say this before. If there's a health issue, absolutely. We'll help out any way we can. That's what you should say. But if they're healthy and able-bodied, then they need to put their mind to work and their hands to work. Start doing something. You know, and this is going to take me into the next communication. So I'm going to take a pause and just say, set some boundaries. Don't allow anyone to put you in a emotional state of being where you feel that it's necessary for you to take on the responsibility of others. This segment of the broadcast has been brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. So if you're not currently a T-Mobile customer, you may call or text on the T-Mobile call or text line at 267-992-1424. We will move you into our queue so that you may become a T-Mobile customer and experience America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. Taxes and fees are included in your bill, and if you auto pay, you will receive a discount on your monthly bill at T-Mobile, America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that you feel as though your success has been limited due to the environment in which you were raised. You said it has been difficult for you to upgrade your standard of living, and you want so much more. So, you know, I see themes, you know, being created as I look through the communications that are sent in. And I saw a theme a couple of weeks ago from people really dealing with a lot of family issues and family structure issues. And so, you know, it's important that we talk about these things. That, you know, these are all issues of life. And we know that this broadcast, 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast, we know that God wants to take you to a very specific place. And in order for us to get there from here, we really have to examine ourselves first of all, and then our environment. So you're looking at your environment and you're saying, you know, you feel like your success has been limited due to the way you were raised. You know, many people could say that. You know, many people could say, I was, you know, raised in a challenging economic environment. You know, many of us have been there. But at some point in life, you decide, and that's where you are now, you decide that you don't want your environment from your childhood to become part of your long-term journey, your extended life. And you find it difficult to upgrade your standard of living because you feel that has pulled you down, that environment that you were raised. But you're making a conscious decision that you want more out of life. And that's the beginning of, this is the first day, and I don't want this to just sound like a cliche, but this is the first day of the rest of my life. In other words, I can begin to make some decisions, personally and professionally, that will raise my standard of living, that will allow me to accomplish more out of life. The problem is you're still spending all of your time, your personal time. You know, you go to work every day, but you're spending all of your personal time with the same people in the same environment that you were raised. You're not making people, places, and things. You're not making changes in the people, places, or things. And, you know, as I said, I made a comment in the sermon on Sunday, last Sunday, and I said, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most of your time with. we have to recognize even though you leave the environment to go to work every day, and then you come home and you spend all your time in the same environment in which you were raised, you're going to continue to live the way you've always lived. This is where you make the decision. Okay, first of all, this is what you say to yourself. I love my family, but they don't live the way I desire to live. They don't live the quality of life that I would like to have. I love them, but they're going to keep living that way because that's the way they choose to live. Because they can be around one another and still feel good about themselves. See, the problem is, and most of us, and this is for all of our listeners and viewers, we naturally gravitate to people who are like us because it doesn't make us feel inferior. But you don't have to feel inferior around people who are doing greater things than you've already done, because you can do the same thing, maybe in a different way, but you still can have the same opportunity. You can watch what they're doing and emulate what they're doing, and you can make advancement from there, from getting different knowledge from other people, getting different perspectives, different points of view, from being around other people, from communicating with people who are doing what you desire to do. Now you might say, but they don't really want to talk to me. No, that's not true. People who are doing something positive, they're doing it, and they may not even know this, but they're doing it because God has chosen them to be the example of what we can accomplish. God is not the respecter of persons. So when he's doing something great in someone else's life, first of all, we want to applaud that if they're doing things the right way. But at the same time, we also want to use it as an example, to be inspired, to be a better version of ourselves, to be all that God has purposed us to be and to become. So we look at those examples and we say, okay, what they've done is great. How can I do something that's going to accomplish greatness in me? But if we're still getting off work every day and going and hanging out with the same people in our families that, are doing nothing any different than they were doing 20 years ago, that's what you can expect. But if you want more, you've got to do more. So one of the things I often encourage people to do is change the people that you're around. And it doesn't mean you can't still love them. Doesn't mean you can't still look. You can go by on Sunday after church and see your family. You can't, because you're all local. You can do that. But the reality is that Monday through Saturday, you need to be around some different people. You need to be doing some different things. You can't keep doing the same things you've always done and expect different results. That's just not going to happen. And we know that because this has been talked about in our society over and over again. If you want to experience new, you have to do new things. If you want to make progress, you've got to keep moving forward. It sometimes is exasperating. It's sometimes exhausting. But you've got to do that. So one of the things I share with people is, try going to find something that you are passionate about. Try going to a fundraiser. Try going to, and what I mean by that is, call the organization and ask to volunteer. It doesn't have to cost you a lot of money. But if you can attend an event and gain some knowledge from it, that is a positive thing to do. We've got to look at different opportunities, because when you look at different opportunities, they become opportunities. And then you begin to develop the potential to pursue the opportunities. Opportunities and preparation merging together will create new life. That's what we live by in our community development. You know, you've got to know how important it is to change your environment. And what I mean by that is you can't, you know, there's an old adage that says you cannot soar like an eagle if you hang out with turkeys. And I'm not implying that your family are turkeys. I'm just saying to you, that's an old adage. And the reason is because turkeys don't fly. Eagles fly and they soar. You know, eagles fly higher than any other bird. So that's even a whole different level, right? You know, I could have picked another bird, you know, and said you can't fly like a cardinal, but you can see the level that cardinals fly on. Eagles soar. And that's why the Bible talks about eagles, because God wants us to soar. He wants us to soar to the highest heights as if we're soaring towards heaven, because that's what we're soaring towards, that eternal life that exists in heaven. But we got to live here in earth. And we've got to make certain that we maximize the time that we're here. We've got to make certain that we're doing everything that we possibly can to maximize the time that we're here. And so I want to encourage you today. You have decided that you want to upgrade your standard of living. You say it's difficult, but you know, it requires work. You want more, let's do more. And you'll have more, because God will continue to bless you on your journey. This segment of the broadcast has been brought to you by Under Armour Golf. So if you are a golfer such as myself, which I really want to be spending more time out on the golf course, but if you're a golfer like myself and you have need of any golf attire or equipment that will enhance your game of golf and allow you to enjoy the game of golf, go to UnderArmour.com, type in the search bar golf, and you will see everything that Under Armour has that will enhance your golf outing and your game of golf. And if you have any needs for any other athletic gear or equipment or athletic apparel, just go to Under Armour Golf. They have everything that you could possibly need. And both Nike Golf and Under Armour Golf are sponsors of our annual golf tournament, for our annual Achievers Golf Tournament. So we thank them for being our sponsor, and we want to make sure that everyone has everything you need to enhance your health and wellness. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that you are currently working for your parents. However, you feel overworked and unappreciated. And you want to know, how do you make them understand that you need more work-life balance? You're troubled by what your parents' expectations of you in the business. But here's the reality. Your parents are preparing you to take over the business when they retire. They're preparing you for that. So yes, they're putting pressure on you. They're giving you a big workload. It's not that you're being appreciated by the fact that they're willing to turn the business over to you when they retire. That's your reward, your appreciation for the service that you're putting in right now. They're not going to treat you the way they treat other employees. They're going to have a higher expectation of you, because one day you're going to take over the work that they leave behind, the family business. You have other family members working in the business. They take time off. You don't get time off. You struggle with that, but the truth of the matter is that they're not preparing them to take over the business. They're providing them with employment. You're the next one up. They do appreciate you. Sure, we're all overworked. We're all working hard. I don't even want to say overworked. We're just working hard. You're working for your parents. They have a higher expectation for you than they do anyone else. I'm gonna email you back and talk a little bit about that, because I'm running out of time today. But just know that we're all working hard, and you are appreciated, and you're appreciated so much that they're going to turn over the company to you when they retire. They're just preparing you for the greatness that's ahead.